What if I told you that some of the best, most powerful advice on communication you'll hear all year isn't from some new bestseller? What if it's actually from a text that's about 2,000 years old? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're about to dive into a real masterclass in how we talk to each other, and it all comes from one single, incredibly powerful passage. And here it is. This is our entire source for today. Yep, just two short sentences. But believe it or not, packed inside this quote is a complete framework for navigating pretty much any conversation. It calls for our speech to be agradável e temperado con sal, pleasant and seasoned with salt, so that we know how to respond to everyone. So let's break down exactly what that means, shall we?
Now here's the thing. It doesn't matter what your personal beliefs are. What's so fascinating here is just how practical this ancient message is. It's really a blueprint for impactful, positive communication that literally anyone can start using in their daily life, like today.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, the whole framework begins with a really strong foundation, the idea of living with wisdom. The text tells us to start by acting wisely, and this is key, especially with people who are outside our immediate circle. Folks who might not see the world the exact same way we do. And the definition of wisdom here is super important. This isn't about having the highest IQ or being the smartest person in the room. No, it's about grace, discernment, and just plain old good judgment. You could almost think of it as a kind of social intelligence, right? A way to handle interactions with real thoughtfulness and respect. But this wisdom, it's not meant to be passive. It's not something you just sit on. The text immediately pushes us from being wise to doing something with that wisdom. It urges us to seize every single opportunity. It's a call to be really intentional, to be proactive in how we interact with people. So you can start to see how this all builds on itself, right? It's like a simple three-step process. First, you ground yourself in wisdom. Then that wisdom helps you see and grab hold of opportunities. And finally, you act in those moments by speaking with grace. See? Wisdom, opportunity, action. And that brings us to, honestly, the most memorable metaphor in the entire passage, the idea of letting your conversation be seasoned with salt. So what does it actually mean? It's such a brilliant image. Let's really get into it. Okay, so think about it. Back in the ancient world, salt did two really critical things. First, it added flavor. It made things taste good. And second, it was a preservative. It kept food from going bad. The metaphor is just perfect. Our words should do the same exact things. Make our conversations valuable and interesting, but also preserve and protect the relationship itself.
So this gives us a really clear choice, doesn't it? On one side, you have conversations that are gracious, interesting, constructive. They build people up. But on the other side, you've got speech that is, bland and boring at best, or aggressive and corrosive at worst, the kind that just tears things down.
And this really raises the stakes, The source text is basically saying our communication only has one of two outcomes. It can either build people up, edify them, or it can tear them down and cause offense. There's really no neutral ground here. Think about that for a second. Our words are always doing one or the other. So why? What's the end game here? What's the ultimate goal of being wise and seizing opportunities and speaking with grace and salt? Well, the text gives us a very clear answer, a really clear purpose. The whole point is to be equipped. It's about developing the actual skill to respond appropriately to each and every individual person. This isn't about having some one-size-fits-all script you just repeat over and over. It's about a responsive, thoughtful approach that can turn your communication into a positive, constructive bridge. And that leaves us with one final, really practical question to take with you. Just think about your day today, or maybe tomorrow. Think about the meetings you have, the people you're going to talk to. Which one of those conversations, just one, could you intentionally season with salt? Because, as this ancient text suggests, making that choice, well, it can make all the difference.